Good morning, I'm Michael from Moat Monster Gaming, and if you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. So it's just come through the post and I'm really excited today to have a look through Magic Realms, The Art of Fighting Fantasy. Now, I have loved fighting fantasy since I was a small child. My earliest memories of my dad are sitting with him reading Citadel of Chaos together on his lap in the 80s, and just from the front cover alone to all the pages of art inside, fighting fantasy just has always been fantastic, be it the painted front covers or the really intricate line drawings inside. And I've always loved fighting fantasy. I built up quite a collection in the 90s as I was at school, as I was playing through them. And now I try to pick up any little bits and pieces that I can along the way. I don't have all the books, but I have played through the ones that I've got. I love a game book. And yeah, I'm now really excited to have a look at this art book, which I gotta say, it is pretty fantastic. So it starts with a very nice introduction from Ian Livingstone, or forward, should I say, already filled with nice little pictures. It kind of talks about how he got into it to begin with, how he thinks that obviously, you know, imagination does come from printed word, but actually, you know, it's art that often can sell something. And actually, while it's a lot of stuff that he has said before, it is a really nice little forward to how he got into it, and it's filled with little anecdotes. I didn't know that, you know, there's the potential that Zanzar Bone is kind of where Darth Maul came from. It's quite good, and he really does thank the artists. And then Jonathan Green does an introduction. He's done a lot of historian work for it, but I actually do really like his fighting fantasy ones that he's written over the years. Unfortunately, I've never managed to read, was it Howl of the Werewolf? And then on to the art. So it's lots of big splash pages of front cover art, some little line drawings, and there's like a bio and how the artists got into it. So Chris Achilles is a major art. I mean, I really do like his work on the Doctor Who books anyway. I really like Terror of the Zygons. And there's his cover for Temple of Terror. There's Armies of Death. And I really like there's a really nice anecdote that they have that accompanies this. To me, it will always be the front cover to Titan, but actually it's called Dragon's Spell, the piece of work. And it's a suggestion that it's not a dragon, but I'll let people read that for themselves. There's the awesome picture that's on the front cover of Out of the Pit. I have it normally, but I also have this awesome Out of the Pit poster book that I've always wanted to actually put up. It's probably a little bit too more valuable to do that these days. Some of the pictures from the novels, and then we move on to Robert Ball, who's one of the more modern artists. I actually don't have any of these modern editions of the original books, but they are pretty groovy. I still think I prefer the originals, but there's no denying they've definitely got a distinct style. And then as we move through the book, it's just literally filled with picture after picture of classic art that I always liked. So these are some of my favourite pictures, actually. So there's the tower from the start of Forest of Doom. There's the map. I've used this map multiple times in Dungeons and Dragons quests when I played with the kids. I slapped the map down for Darkwood Forest, including some of the locations, because I will admit I've turned a couple of these into easy to do quests for D&D. There's the Balrog, not a Balrog, but there's the Balrog, and various other ones. I just think Forest of Doom is probably my favourite. One of the newer artists, but again, beautiful line drawing. And then John Blanchy, who I always remember from a lot of Games Workshop pictures. But actually, there's the sorcery picture. There's more of the sorcery ones. Really, really good. Really like the flying fish. Again, awesome artwork with such a distinct style. I want to say it's a yub. Can't remember. And Not Mind Flayer down there in the bottom corner. The spells from the Sorcery Spellbook. and keep going, and then a beautiful map. And then obviously there's Bolland. Now, for me, I'll always remember him from Swamp Thing and Animal Man front covers and things. He did The Killing Joke, but there's the very cool Appointment with Fear front cover. Didn't really do much else for him. Did love his Judge Dredd work, his Freeway Fighter, which always reminds me of Battle Cars, which is a board game that I've got upstairs in the loft. And it just goes on. The book is beautiful. It's just filled with art. There's some line art from Blood of the Zombies. And it is a complete and utter range from start to finish. Some classic pictures. Classic front covers. Vault of the Vampire, Revenge of the Vampire. Daggers of Darkness. Really, really good. And I do love these full... I've actually got an art book with that one as well. So I do really like all of the pictures. And it's a nice trip down memory lane. I mean, my books are situated on my game book shelf. And they're just all in a line and they're spine out. But actually, this is nice to just look at. These maps are good. Really like the little pictures of the maps that we have here. But actually, it's the anecdotes that accompany the artist. So there's obviously the more books they illustrated, either inside or outside, the more anecdotes there are for the artist. But it's little things like I'd never twigged that's actually a copy of the Citadel logo from Games Workshop back in the day, and never twigged. But of course, yeah, I can completely see it now, and it's just filled with little bits of information like that. It talks a little bit about some of the things that they changed within the game books as time went on. This is quite good. This is, where is it? This is Ian McCragg. The guy who did the iconic Forest of Doom shape changer front cover, but actually he also did the Blood Beast from Death Trap Dungeon, and now he's doing the front cover for Dungeon on Blood Island. So with any luck, this came through the post, a couple of days ago, and Dungeon on Blood Island should be coming through the post pretty soon, which is kind of like a sort of semi-sequel to Death Trap Dungeon. City of Thieves. Always like City of Thieves and Midnight Road. Love the snake-headed lady that we have here. Again, gorgeous line artwork. And that's just it. Both the Lone Wolf and the Fighting Fantasy books had such detailed art within the... Even if it wasn't the best of game adventure, because they're not all hits, awesome Bloodbones picture. Even if they're not the best of adventure, the pictures inside really did help sell the book. They're really good. It's a bit like the Rancor monster up the top there. They're beautiful, and the art within is beautiful. It then, Ian Miller. Oh look. The interiors to Citadel of Chaos. It's the wheelies up the top there. Can't really see it very well. But moving on, because actually can look at these beautiful pictures all day, and they are fabulous. And as I said, I do like the little anecdotes and the little bits about all the artists. I really like how we then have a complete set of covers from the books, which is nice. There's the sorcery ones. Then we have the updated, I suppose that's mid-2000s ones. So I only collected the ones from these that I didn't have out the first run. And then There's the modern ones. Again, I've only picked up the ones that didn't exist first time round, but it does move on to other things. So we've got a nice little piece on overseas editions, which is fine. All the many different front covers for Warlock of Firetop Mountain, but here we have Warlock magazine. So we've got all the covers for Warlock magazine, and they only did 13. So I'm quite lucky that I've got all of them. And if you've not seen it before, Warlock magazine was a magazine that accompanied the Final Fantasy books. It had a mixture of creatures, it had rules on fighting, it had, there's the old classic adventure sheet, and it even had some of the Fighting Fantasy quests, adventures reprinted in magazine form, including some that never made it into book form. But yeah, I always think they're nice little collection. Now, what I did find missing, oh yeah, it's got a little piece on the graphic novels, which I hadn't remembered existed until reading this. I didn't know there were Trolltooth War ones, but I did know there was a Freeway Fighter graphic novel. So it's got some of the art for that. But what it does have, it has the miniature figures. Now, unfortunately, the Citadel ones that they brought out in the very early 80s, 82, they only kind of get like a footnote. They just get like 2-line mentioned, and then it goes quite heavily into the, when were these ones? These were the mid 2014s, 15s. So these ones are beautiful. Show a bit better picture there, and they look absolutely excellent. I will admit, I've never really seen them on the market, but these have been painted beautifully and do look like they have just stepped out of the books, if the books were in colour and not a line drawing. But yeah, The Magical Realms of Fighting Fantasy is an absolutely beautiful, huge hardback book. Thank you very much for looking. Take care.